I'd say the gold. The gold. Jersey boys are misty, but it sounds bad. Yeah, this works.
Here we are. Thank you.
What happened to Snap?
Oh, we can walk now. Hi. Can I get a program, please?
15?
Thank you. Hey guys, so a couple weeks ago, my parents and my friend Lily and I went to go see the Jersey Boys Broadway show. Well, it was on tour. And this Broadway show, I was most excited. I haven't been this excited to see. Just kidding. I was gonna say I haven't been this excited to see a Broadway show in a long time, but I'm excited for any Broadway show that I see. But this one I was especially excited for because I have a little backstory of why I wanted to see Jersey Boys. So when I was about 10 years old, my parents and my grandparents and I went to go see Jersey Boys when it was on tour. And when we arrived there, one of the ushers said that there was some inappropriate language and scenes that might not be appropriate for a little 10-year-old. And so my mom was really concerned about that, and she began praying the whole time that I wouldn't remember anything. The only thing that I remember from that time was them singing Walk Like a Man and them taking their bows. Everything else, it's like, I don't remember anything. And this wasn't my first Broadway show. The first Broadway show I saw was The Lion King, and I was like 7 or 8. So those were a couple years prior to me being 10. So out of all the Broadway shows I've ever seen, like days that I see Broadway shows, I remember every single detail. I remember so many details about people around me, the location, what I was wearing, what other people were wearing. I remember so many details, but this is the one show that I do not remember anything. So I thought that I would do a theater review. I think I've done this twice on this channel. I keep saying I want to do more theater reviews, and then I keep texting people asking what shows you want me to review, because I've seen over 20 shows, and then I never get to doing those videos because I just plan a different video instead. So if you want to hear more theater reviews, give this video a thumbs up and comment below, and then I'll see which one I will review. I can't guarantee it, but let me know if you're interested, and I may throw in an extra video or something like that in the future. But anyways, my review of Jersey Boys. So every Broadway show that I've ever seen, I get a program souvenir book, and it has like extra special pictures and information and such about the show, about the process of making the show, and they're just really cool souvenirs to have. I honestly was not sure what to expect from the show, because I'd seen, I mean, of course I knew almost all the songs because I would listen to it all the time, and I kind of knew what the story was, but I did not know what to expect. I know there are bootlegs there on YouTube, but I only watched like 5 minutes of those bootlegs because I really didn't want it to spoil it for me. So you think of waiting for 10 years, you think I'd watch the entire Broadway show online, but no, I did not. I only watched 5 minutes of it. So I did not know what to expect and what was going to happen. I would say the opening was a little odd. The first song was Oh What a Night, but they were singing it in French. And I was not expecting them to start the show that way. It was different, it was interesting, but the only problem was I didn't know they were French rapping French, because something that it's not their fault, but the microphones were a little off, and also where we were sitting in the balcony probably had an effect on that as well. It was probably bouncing off. The sound was probably bouncing off. So the French rap, to me, didn't sound like it was French. I liked how one of the Four Seasons character was the narrator of the show and was talking about different scenes and different characters and the backstory. And it's kind of like when those, like in those classic films, when there's a detective standing underneath like a lamppost and saying like, the night was cold and there was no one else to be seen, and I don't know what I'm saying, but like, you know, like when those people narrate, and it really like set the mood for what was going to happen, or just getting an idea of who the characters were. I think the actors did an incredible job of bringing the characters to life and basically making you feel like you were there and that you were able to see the situations or see foreshadowing of what was going to happen. And of course their voices were incredible. I don't really know how to describe the genre of Jersey Boys or of the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. I don't really know how to describe the genre of music, but it's like the era of Frank Sinatra and all that. And Frank Sinatra and other musicians and singers during that time, that is one of my favorite genres. I love oldies and all that type of music and different genres. So they did an incredible job of all of those songs, and especially the guy who played Frankie. One of my favorite things about the show was their dancing, their choreography. Like, I don't know how you do that, but it was just so in sync and so precise and so sharp, and I love it whenever there's choreography in different shows, and I love it when it's sharp and precise. Like, that's one of my favorite things. So the fact that they're able to pull that off was incredible. Another actor that really stood out to me was Corey Greenan. He played Tommy, and he really made it believable of playing Tommy, and he did a fantastic job. I mean, none of them broke character that I saw, but I was just very impressed with his playing of Tommy. I think he made it very believable, and that he was the most interesting to watch, and really drew me in and wanting to see more of what he would do and where he would take his character next. So I absolutely loved watching Corey Greenan. Actors feed off the energy of a crowd, and usually, like when we go to San Francisco for shows, the audience is like buzzing and they're excited, and you can feel that energy, and makes the energy on stage like very fast, and you can see the cast bursting with energy. But this theater that we went to, I've gone here a couple times, and every single time I've gone there I'm not too impressed, just because the crowd that comes in is more of an older crowd or just more of a quiet crowd, and it does affect the cast when they're performing. However, with Jersey Boys, you have to be energetic when performing these songs, especially with the choreography. You have to have energy to hit all the sharp and precise dance movements. So I think the cast did a phenomenal job of keeping up the energy, even if the audience wasn't energetic. So overall, I think it was an amazing show, and I would definitely see it again. Mostly because of a different environment and to give it a different feel and a different taste. But I loved it. I mean, it's not my top. It didn't really cut it to my top 5, but it is a show that I would see again. Now, before I close this theater review, let me just, it's not really a rant, but let me just say something as an actress and saying something as a theater goer, audience member, someone who's seen over 23 shows, and someone who knows a little bit about theater etiquette. I just want to share this because it's important to me, and it's important to a lot of actors and actresses, and also people in the audience. I've been in different audiences where there have been a few people loud with, like 1 or 2 people loud with their snacks or loud with their drinks. There's been a couple audiences I've been in where 1 or 2 cell phones go off. Or I've actually been in an audience where this guy right in front of me answers his phone and he goes, "Yeah, sorry, can't talk right now. I'm watching a Broadway show." "Yeah, I'll talk to you after the show." "Okay, bye. Yeah, sounds good. Alright, I'll talk to you then." In the middle of a show. So I've had that. Like usually just 1 or 2 people. However, this audience of When We Saw Jersey Boys was not the best audience that I've ever been in. It's probably one of my least favorite audiences I've ever sat with. There were people talking, and not just whispering. Like whispering, it's not nice to whisper during a Broadway show, but I mean, I understand if you do. It wasn't people just whispering, it was people who were talking. Like the volume that I am talking right now, regular volume, is the volume that they were talking at in the theater. So that's not cool. And then there were people chewing on their ice of their drinks, which I don't know if you knew this. If you chew ice, it's loud. Chewing ice is loud. And there were people opening their snacks and such during the show, which is distracting. And there were people eating chips. And this is what I don't get. I guess this is turning into a rant. This is what I don't get, why that theater sells chips in the lobby. Chips are loud snacks, and I don't understand why you would sell those in the theater. Like, you want to have quiet snacks in the theater. And like, if you're gonna open your snack, open it before the show. There's this rule in New York of different theaters, and some theaters are starting to go away from this rule, which I don't really appreciate, which I can understand why people would go away from this rule, but it's once the doors close, you're not allowed in or out until intermission or until the show is over. If you get there late, you have to sit in the lobby and watch the show on the monitors and wait until intermission to get in. Like, if you get there late, that's your problem. I mean, I know it's frustrating, and I get that, but there are people who have paid lots of money to get there and have gotten there on time, and I get things happen, but the thing is, when you have those doors constantly opening and closing and you're seeing that light come in, A, it's disruptive to the audience members, and B, it is so distracting when you're on stage. I mean, you can be in the zone of your character, you can be fully focused, but when you see that light come in, it takes you out for a second of your character, and it's really distracting, it's really disruptive. There were people in this audience like every few minutes going in and out like it's the movie theaters. Like, this isn't the movie theaters, this is theater, and this is live performances, and these are people acting, and it's their job, but they're trying to put the best show on for you. So basically the reason why I'm saying this is because it's really disrespectful when people do those type of things in the theater. And I'm not saying this as pet peeves, and I know people might be watching this and be like, wow, she has a lot of pet peeves as being an audience member. No, I'm also saying this as an actress. I'm saying as someone who's on stage, and I'm saying this as someone who finds it disrupting when you're on stage. But I'm also saying this as an audience member because of all those things. Like, when you're watching a Broadway show, you want to be sucked in, you want to forget about the world around you, you just want to be focused on the show. But when all those things are going around you, it takes you out for a second. And I find that really distracting. So maybe that's why I wasn't able to like talk about more about the show, but there were so many things, so many distractions going on in that audience that really made it hard to focus on the show. Like, this show, I really wanted to be captivated by, but I wasn't able to be fully captivated by because of the audience. And that's really, really frustrating to me. And I don't know if this show will ever go on tour again, which again is frustrating because I want to see it again in a different environment, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. And because of the audience there, I wasn't able to get the full experience that I wanted. So basically I'm saying all this because if you go to the theater, and if you are one of these people who do any of these things that I just said, I highly recommend that next time don't do that, because it's rude and it's disrespectful. If you guys like this, give a thumbs up. If you want to see more, definitely comment it below, and I will do my best to get more theater reviews out there on my channel. But if you're not subscribed already to this channel, definitely subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. And follow all my social media so that you stay up to date on what's going on my channel and on my life and everything like that. And if you haven't checked out last week's video, you can go on and do that, whichever side that it's on. I always forget, but go check out last week's video if you haven't already. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it, and I will see you guys next Monday. Bye.